Hello and welcome to the season 3 premiere of the Happy Insights podcast. My name is Happy Ali, and I am so excited for you to join me on this long-awaited season, a season that I have been working on night and day. I'm so lying. A season that I've been trying to define in my off hours, trying to figure out what message I want to convey. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized there's only one theme that I'm excited about to share with you, which is the future of human evolution, the future of humanity. Now, a lot of people immediately think of AI as the future of human evolution or the experiences we're going to have as a human species. And that is true because AI is going to change everything that we do. We're going to rely more on AI regarding everyday functions, and a lot of things will be assigned to AI. But the human mind is not going to stop growing. One of the biggest fears people have is that we are going to get dumb as AI takes over and our minds are going to turn into mush. But this episode is to talk about an alternative, the future of the human mind in a different way, the evolution of the human mind in a different way. And I know that this is the only direction that the evolution of the human mind and the human species is headed. Now, at this time on this planet, most of us know what our minds are capable of doing. But as people talk about going to the fifth dimension and evolving as humanity and becoming part of the interdimensional, intergalactic family, no one really talks about how. Everyone talks about aliens landing on Earth and us realizing that we're part of an intergalactic world. But listen, we can't wait for aliens to show up. We can't wait for other people to do the work. The work starts here with you, with me, with each and every one of us. So, what is the work? What is the future of humanity that I'm talking about? It is learning to enhance our communication abilities so that we can tap into new sources of information using our minds and bodies. Now, what does that mean? Right now, we are tuned into the frequency of this world, this outer world, and we're at the mercy of what this world has to show us. So, what we see, what we hear, when we look online, when we look at social media, when we look around, is limited to the frequency of what we're able to see. I mean, it makes sense. That's how we've survived these eons. I don't know if I want to say tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, or millions, depending on who you're talking to regarding human civilization on this planet. But let's just say eons. So, what we've had access to right now, as the modern society that we are, is just the limited perspective of the human mind. But there are people that we've known that have had supernatural abilities. And I say that in air quotes because people considered others who could tap into infinite intelligence, other source of information, other dimensional information as people with supernatural abilities. And I strongly believe that the evolution of the human species and the human mind and the human brain is headed to where we are all accessing information from multi-dimensional levels. And that is the only way we are going to access the information that we need to evolve as a species. Now, that sounds like science fiction to some, but some of you, and I know it's more of you than you're publicly willing to admit, a lot of you have experienced insight and information and contact with other dimensional frequencies, which means everything from having psychic moments, like having precognition, like when you think of someone and they call you, or when you think something's going to happen and it happens, or when you have dreams that are prophetic, things that just don't seem to make sense to the majority of the world. But you are having your experiences that are proving to you that we are more than these physical bodies trapped in this physical world, because we are connected to the entire multiverse, all the dimensions and all the galaxies and all the universes that are out there are connected to us through our inner world. And the only way that we are going to evolve as a species is to learn how to hone in on our abilities to connect to our inner world. Now, I wrote a book that's coming out. It's called the Intuition Bible. And that book is completely inspired by learning to tap into your inner resources. Because if you've listened to any teacher, if you read any spiritual self help book, ultimately, what do they tell you? They tell you to meditate. Now, people might think that meditating just means quieting the mind so you can have time to process everything that's going on. But when we meditate, we expand our range of frequencies, which means that when we go within, we can tap into more information that we normally have access to, giving us insights that will help us throughout our life. And we connect to all different sources of intelligent energy and sources of information that we never had access to. Now, some of you will listen to this and it will mean nothing to you. And some of you will get excited because you know you're destined to expand your awareness to include much more. And you are no longer fixed to the frequency of your specific soul. And you can take your antennas, widen your range, and tap into new frequencies. Now, that is where I think we're headed, because as we do that, we tap into different perspectives and understand that different versions of reality is possible. And when we do that, when we tap into our inner wisdom, when we understand that different versions of reality is possible, we bring those versions of reality to this world. And when we have those ideas, when we see it, when we feel it, when we've experienced it on a different level already, it's easier to execute those ideas in a physical way on this plane. And when a lot of us start tapping into higher frequencies on a regular basis, then it becomes the norm and change begins to happen. Guess what? Our bodies have been evolving and adapting, but now it's time for the mind to start evolving and for us to be able to tap into all the things that our brains are capable of doing that have been dormant for eons. So, this, I believe, is the future of humanity. And the only way to access that is to give our inner world a chance to express itself. Now, why is that really important? Because the outer world is so loud that the inner world does not have a chance to be heard as long as we're paying attention to the outer world. The outer world will always be louder than your inner world because we're designed to survive on this planet. And unless we are aware of the outer world, we might step into danger and we might die. So our system is built to prioritize the five senses, but our evolution depends on prioritizing our inner senses. And I'm talking about our spiritual evolution, our psychic evolution. So, how do we do that? Well, there's an entire book devoted to it, which is my book. But in short, we have to tap into the frequency of our inner world by slowing down our brain waves and prioritizing the information that comes from within. Our subconscious mind likes to prioritize whatever we think is important. And up until now, we have prioritized living in this physical world and being aware of all the dangers. But the same kind of dangers that used to be out there to get us are not the same kind of dangers that are there to get us now. So now, as a society, with our secure homes and with our level of safety and knowing where our food is coming from, we can start prioritizing our inner voice. But first, we have to tell our subconscious mind that we want to prioritize the inner voice. And that aspect of our personal evolution is important to us. And when we do that, that's when the subconscious mind begins to bring forth more of your inner knowledge and gives you access to your inner knowledge. I don't want to go into too much detail right now because we will talk more about all this stuff in the upcoming episodes. But I do want to share that the subconscious mind has the power. It has the power to delete all the inner information and our psychic abilities, or it has the power to bring it forth. And then once we do that, then we have to learn how to tap into new frequencies and how to interpret those frequencies. And until we get to balance all of that, that evolution that I'm talking about, the future of humanity, is not really possible. But first, I have to plant the seed. And I'm planting the seed right now with this episode. So if that seems interesting, I'm excited to share more on this in the upcoming episodes, because this season is only devoted to inner wisdom, inner knowing, inner access to information, and all the people, all the episodes, and all our guests will be shedding light on this topic and also showing you what we're capable of doing. Some people will show up and show you by their example of what they've been able to access by going within. So that's our episode for today. And as a shameless plug, my book, The Intuition Bible, How and Why to Tap into Your Inner Wisdom, is available on pre-sale at Amazon, Target, and Barnes and Noble. And the link will be somewhere below. So make sure to get that, check it out, order it, because it goes into much greater detail on these topics. But I do want to share all that in the upcoming season. So thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode. I look forward to the next episode. Have a beautiful day.